Okay, everybody, we're going to talk about subnetting. I know some people asked about it, and I just wanted to give a video for you guys' reference to write down if you ever wanted to use it again. So, what is an IP address? It's going to be 4 groups of 8 bits that indicate how many, essentially like your address. Essentially, it's like your home address for a host or any device that lives on a network. So, how do you divide those networks up? Well, subnetting is that exact what I'm explaining here. So, the way I do it is we do 1, 2. That needs to be further apart. Let's really spread this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll give ourselves a little bit more room. Okay. So these are our bits. And each bit means something, of course. They mean 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64, and 128. So, if you add these all together, it equals 255, or, 255, because the next bit, another one that's going to rely over here, is going to be 256. So, let's talk about how we calculate our subnet mask. So, subnet mask, if this is your interesting bit, this would be a slash 25, which I'll talk about here in just a second. Your interesting bit, this is how many hosts are used. It's kind of how I like to think of it. And there's 2. See, 8, 12. Oops, what's going to be? Let's back up a second. My math's a little spotty. It's going to be 192. We can do better. 192. Then it's 224. Then it's going to be 240. Then 248. Then 252. 254 and 255. So that essentially means that every single host is used, and you can't really have a /32 subnet. And what do I mean by /32? So the CIDR kind of denotes the interesting bit. Which bit are we talking about? Which bit is the one that's essentially the last one that's activated? So 32, and then 31, and then 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, and 25. Okay. So if I say I have a /27 network, what does that mean? /27 is going to be, essentially there's 32 available hosts, but we got to subtract 2 for the broadcast and this network name. So say we have a 192.168.1.0 /27. That means the name of the network is going to be what I just said, 192.168.1.0. So we can't use that. That's the name. And then 31 is going to be your broadcast. That's where, if you have to use like a broadcast, that's the IP it's going to use. So you can't use that for a host. That's just kind of like your dummy. That this is your outbound for certain things. So can't do it. And then 32 and 192.168.1.32 is going to be the beginning of your next network. Because remember, we start with 0. So that's why that happens that way. So say we need more than 255 hosts. Say we need whatever the next one is, right? So we need more. So we're going to go 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. So this is talking about our third octet. These ones right here are talking about our fourth. These are here talking about our third, and it continues to go starting with 16 all the way down to 9, and then 8 all the way to 1. So give me some more space over here. Okay, so a /24. This would be the interesting bit on the. That would be the interesting bit. So essentially, this is the one that's activated. All the other ones are, gone essentially. So it ends up with 255 or 256. You'll have 256 available hosts. I think I spoke incorrectly a second ago. You'll have a /24. You'll have 256 available hosts. So what does that mean? That means we actually have 254, like I said before. And it essentially means that your third octet or your fourth octet is completely open. It doesn't end with a /25. It's going to be 0 to 128. With a /24, it's going to be 0 to 255, essentially, or 256, including this one. So what are some, I guess you might ask, what are some examples? So say we have, let's do some typing here. Say we have 192.168.1.0/26. This means that's going to be 192.168.1.0 through 192.168.1. If you guys want to guess, that's right. It's going to be 64. Well, 63 technically. And then our next one is going to be 192.168.1.64. If we did another /26, it's going to be 192.168.127. The next one's going to start at 1.128. 64 is 128. So these are 4 126 or 4/26 subnets. That's not right. Yeah, that's right. Well, no, these are 3. Sorry, this is the name of the first one using CIDR. This is 3 subnets of /26. It's all going to be by 64s. So if anyone ever gives you something like this, what's the subnet ID of this? What's the what's the very last or the very first? What is the name of this subnet? It's going to be 192.168.1.0 because 63 stays within that range. So if it's 62, we're just going to round down. Now, if it's 64, obviously that's the name of it. But if they give you like 68, the network ID is going to be 64. Because remember, 26 means this is our interesting bit. So we're going to move by 64s. Obviously, that's not something I can select. And what's our subnet mask going to be? So say this is our /26 right here. Our subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255 dot. You can't see me pointing, but I'm looking at this right here, 64. It's going to be 192. And what this tells us is there's 192, previously used bits, essentially. And, we'll call them bits, hosts. And this one allocates us 64. So regardless of where it is, if this was a slash 64 slash, it's still going to have the same subnet mask. It's just kind of a visual representation of what's available. So that is subnetting, the way I do it, at least. You can find, if you look at the internet, you can find stuff like this. This is what I have printed off at work. It doesn't go to 31 and 32. Those aren't really used as far as like subnetting goes, but if you ever get into like firewall stuff, and you want to allow a specific host through, you can do as a /32. You'll need, depending on what you're using, you'll need it to do as a /32. So that just means that there's only one. There's one free bit, and this is the one. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you like the video, I guess I'm gonna let this one be liked. If you like it, go ahead and hit it a like. And that's it. See you in class. Have a good weekend, depending on when you're reading this, or watching this rather. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.